Diddy's son, Christian, a.k.a. King Combs,
is a trial attorney that has represented some very famous, maybe infamous defendants. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, John Gotti Jr., fellow rappers The Game, Fat Joe. Hilton says Lichtman will be investigating the use of force involved in the raid.
Okay, we have a major issue leading up to Sean Combs' racketeering, sex trafficking, prostitution trial scheduled to begin May 5th. Actually, it is so significant that not only could it change the course of this whole case, but I wonder if we're dealing with a situation that could actually delay this trial. So if you've been following our coverage here on Sidebar, you know there has been a whole lot of back and forth between Combs' defense counsel and prosecutors about who's going to testify at this upcoming trial, particularly the alleged victims. And when the prosecutors have to disclose the identities of these individuals, well, it is that issue that has now raised up again. And this is a monumental potential.
The case is the jury isn't just listening, they are looking. They are looking at facial expressions, body language,
reactions,
hesitation, reactions, all of that. And, if they, put them in a different room and blur their face, that opens the door, if Diddy gets convicted, to an appeal.
So the other option would be to clear the court, but the media is still going to, you can't.
Los Angeles is in shock after a dramatic FBI raid sent tremors through the world of music royalty. At the center of this storm, Diddy's sons, Christian and Justin. In a shocking development, one of them has reportedly surrendered to authorities, as disturbing revelations begin to emerge from inside their father's empire. The raid, swift, calculated, and deeply unsettling, uncovered potential evidence of a crime that could rattle the foundations of a dynasty built on fame and fortune. 3. Video footage tells a story of its own. A federal agent, aware of being watched, tilts a security camera toward the ground. Moments later, agents deploy a drone inside the lavish home. Christian is seen with his hands in the air, pressed against a wall before being handcuffed. Justin soon follows, his hands raised before being escorted down a hallway by agents. Another unidentified man is later dragged out onto the driveway. Photos taken in the aftermath show both of Diddy's sons sitting on the lawn as agents continue their sweep through the property. The tension is palpable, the implications enormous. According to the Daily Mail, even Paris Hilton has weighed in, allegedly commenting on Christian's involvement. What secrets lie beneath the surface of this high-profile family? Could this investigation finally unveil the dark truths long buried behind the glitz of celebrity life? As the case unfolds, all eyes are on the next explosive reveal.
Raid. It was the same kind of circumstances. A huge property. They don't know how many people are inside that property. Their job is to get in, get it under control, and get everybody out.
The elite Hollywood Hills, Diddy's lavish estate became the center of a cinematic FBI raid. Heavily armed agents stormed through the grand halls, executing a precision operation that stunned the neighborhood. In a dramatic moment caught on camera, one of Diddy's sons was handcuffed right before the lens, while the other was marched through the home at gunpoint. The once glamorous mansion quickly turned into a high-stakes crime scene, leaving the public stunned and demanding
ironclad case.
New surveillance video shows Combs being taken into custody in a Manhattan hotel last week. Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Kotursky, is at the scene of his arrest. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning to you, Robin. This is the hotel where Sean Combs was arrested a week ago. You can now see how that arrest went down.
New details surfaced, linking the raid to a string of legal and personal issues within the Combs family. For months, quiet whispers hinted at domestic disputes, legal conflicts, and long-hidden secrets bubbling beneath the surface. Now, those rumors appear to be unraveling in real time. The FBI's dramatic raid may be just the beginning of a broader probe into a troubled empire that's long been shielded by fame, but now stands exposed under intense federal scrutiny.
And in Miami, they found guns.
We got Jasmine Monroe here, who's got that story, a little bit more in Florida Minute. Hey, Jasmine.
Hey, good morning to both of you. That's right. So according to an NBC News report, which was cited by 3 sources familiar to this matter, it is not clear what
victims will collectively give about years' worth of beatings, fueled coercive sex marathons, and multiple rapes. These are the people who will testify as part of the criminal charges. The non-statutory victims' testimony, meaning the people who testify as to this uncharged conduct, will be no more inflammatory than the evidence that the jury will already have before it at this trial. Accordingly, the highly probative proffered testimony is not unduly prejudicial under Rule 403, which
allegedly Diddy was doing other things with this victim too that they didn't know about, and now they have enough evidence to bring this.
So those charges are sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution, which is interesting because you all have this great new documentary out talking about Diddy's defense.
Yeah.
And the mock jury in that were uncomfortable with some of these ideas of sex trafficking and prostitution and this concept of whether this really was consensual and whether they seem to think, some of them, that the government was going too far by suggesting sex trafficking.
Rooms torn apart, possessions overturned, the home left in disarray. But looming over it all is the elephant in the room, Diddy himself. The legendary music mogul now finds his name entangled in a sweeping federal sex trafficking investigation. Authorities didn't just raid his Los Angeles mansion. They also stormed his Miami Beach estate on Star Island. Homeland Security, along with local law enforcement, confirmed these actions are part of a long-standing probe into alleged trafficking, abuse, and a string of wild, drug-fueled parties known in whispers as freak-offs. The fallout could be massive.
King Combs is now being sued, just like his father is. A woman filed a lawsuit against King, alleging that in late 2022, right before New Year's Eve, King assaulted her on a yacht. Specifically, she claims that she tried pushing him off of him, telling her that she didn't want it. And she claims that he continued pressing on and pressing on. In her lawsuit, she actually claims to have audio recordings of this, and she includes transcripts of all of this. And in the transcripts, if they're believed to be true, they do in fact show her trying to tell Christian, hey, leave me alone. I don't want this. Leave me alone. Eventually, she claims she got away from Christian. He kept hounding her. He told her, hey, take me to a place I can sleep on the yacht. She took him to a theater room, and this woman claims that's when he continued to try and sexually assault.
Nepo baby debate that everyone's having. Everyone's coming for kids of famous people and nepotism. Yeah. You must be so sick and tired of that debate.
Not really. You know, heavy is the head that wears the crown, so we got a big legacy to fill up too.
Oh, I love that.
And right now, bad boy be #1. Let's go, baby.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Do you feel at all any sort of way about benefiting from your dad's success, or it just, life is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
You could be born good looking or ugly, you can be born smart.
In one way, shape, or form.
Freak off.
Freak off.
Freak off. Freak off.
The freak off sometimes lasted days at a time.
Prosecutors say that these were elaborately produced events, bringing lighting in, cameras, linens.
Prosecutors said he would masturbate during these freak-offs, and women had no choice.
Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs. Freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, pleasured himself during, and often electronically recorded.
I don't think that this looks good for Diddy at all. I think that the feds are not playing. I think that adding these charges a month before trial is set to begin is very telling. I'm afraid to see what else is going to come out during trial, and I'm curious to see who the second victim is.
Yeah, we don't know how the government's going to deal with this, by the way, because they have not revealed the identities. Do they clear the court so that the testimony is not seen by the public, or are they going to reveal who?
And the public are buzzing with unanswered questions. Why would a young man from such a powerful and wealthy family choose to surrender rather than contest the charges? Was it a moment of clarity, a plea for redemption, or simply the weight of fame finally crashing down? The raid, cinematic in its execution, may have marked a breaking point. With the world watching and the walls seemingly closing in, his decision to cooperate could signal deeper truths lurking beneath the surface. As speculation swirls, one thing is clear. The glittering facade of celebrity life is beginning to crack.
And it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well, we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced. Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there.
Taking a closer look at all that evidence, Diddy had 3 AR-15s seized during the federal raids that had been defaced. What do you think that would look like, though? Because weapons obviously are very dangerous. We don't want them to go off. How is that collected?
Well, they typically clear the weapon, right? They're going to go ahead and take the cartridge out of it and make sure that there are no rounds, obviously, in the chamber, and then disassemble it to be taken back as evidence. What's interesting is the AR-15s that they found. Some people have AR-15s. It's legal in some places, but they found that the serial number was scraped off of them, and that I thought was interesting because I don't know if Diddy didn't want those traceable to him, or if he had received them on the black market.
Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman.
But you heard about the guns they found at Diddy house with no serial numbers?
I think that's going to be hard to prove that they're his weapons. They're going to have to prove that they was his weapons because he had other grown people living in there. And plus, that house, I believe, was in a corporation name. So they're going to have to get maids, butlers, cleaning people, or somebody that's in that house to have a daily contact to say that was his room that they found those weapons.
Secrets always find a way to catch up, no matter how high you rise. Diddy is learning that the hard way. As shocking revelations surface, he and his legal team are scrambling to protect both him and his son from the legal storm closing in. It's a desperate fight to escape a situation that's growing more serious by the day.
We decide what's hot. If we don't go, nobody goes. If we don't support, nobody supports. We control what's cool. We control what's hot. We control what your kids listen to, what they dance to. We control what's in video games. We control how they wear their pants.
First, I want to say to this young man, before somebody take his head off, because see, that's that new school bull crap that these kids out here, they easy to fly off their mouth with that. You don't invite a man to your private. You don't invite a man to your private unless you doing the Diddy. If 2 men lay down, how many homos get up? Let me tell you, young man, 2 of them. You understand? So don't invite a man to your private because that man will see you and take your head off.
Diddy's son, Justin, I heard he got in contact with you.
Yeah, he called me on Instagram. So I'm like, what is this? So I pick up. I'm like, what's that? He was like, man, I don't appreciate what you're doing to my daddy, bro. Well, he was talking gangster to me. I'm going to be honest with you. And I had to let him know I would beat the shit out of his leg. But at the end of the day, I seen Justin when he was a little boy, right? So I really ain't feel no way. I know at the end of the day he was hurt, but I had to let him know he was a little boy to me. And you are enjoying the fruits of your labor, and part of the fruits of your labor that your little sprout ass is enjoying is off the band as well. So, nigga, shut up. Shut your ass up and just go some well.
Those wasn't my dad's, those was mine. All they gonna get is a 3 to 5. 85%.
But you being somebody, right, that was cool with Diddy at one point, you don't feel a little bit bad for him?
My man, how do you feel sorry for a man that had everything material that any man could ever want? How do you feel sorry for a man could go any place?
But now we're all left wondering, how will this end? Will the truth behind the raid and the legal chaos finally come to light? Or is this just another chapter in a long saga of scandals? What will become of Diddy's legacy? And can a family once viewed as untouchable ever truly escape the weight of their secrets and the spotlight's unforgiving glare?
Investigation is the man who once ruled the world of commercial hip-hop, musician and mogul Sean Puffy P. Diddy Combs. Now he's a federal defendant facing many decades behind bars. Here's the story. In a dramatic legal battle, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs faces a series of grave federal charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and forced labor. The indictment alleges that from 2009 to 2024, Combs orchestrated a criminal enterprise exploiting his vast business empire to engage in these illicit activities. Prosecutors contend that Combs coerced individuals into non-consensual sexual acts and forced labor, utilizing threats, violence, and manipulation.
I'm going to start with one of the defense's filings from yesterday, and I want you to listen to this explosive opening paragraph. Quote, after months of refusing to disclose the identity of alleged victims and just 60 days before trial, the government suddenly announced that it intended to shore up its case with evidence of redacted, uncharged, and uncorroborated crimes, including redacted, again, it's all blacked out, purported instances of sexual assault, all but one of which supposedly occurred decades ago. These incendiary allegations are substantially more serious than the charged offenses, and if admitted, would make it impossible for Mr. Combs to receive a fair trial. Federal prosecutors want to call a key expert witness to the stand at Sean Combs' upcoming criminal trial planned to start next month. You know, the case where he's facing racketeering, prostitution, and sex trafficking charges. But the defense says no. No. She should not be allowed to testify. And there is a lot about this.
And months ahead, more details are bound to surface. New evidence will come to light, fresh. Witnesses may step forward, and the world will gain a deeper understanding of the human drama behind this growing scandal. Brace yourself for shocking twists, explosive revelations, and relentless legal maneuvers that could shatter everything we thought we knew. Each secret revealed only adds fuel to an already volatile narrative, one that refuses to fade quietly. And now, whispers are swirling that Cassie might not be able to testify, raising even more questions about the direction this case is heading.
He don't lose all his money and everything like that. His fall from grace will be harder than anybody we would know in hip-hop. Anybody we've known in hip-hop, his fall from grace would be worse than anybody. Because he would be the laughing stock. And everybody would be doing comedy sketches. And you got to realize, even before all that shit started, Dave Chappelle was one of the best.
Testify because she signed a non-disclosure agreement in the settlement with Diddy. So take it away.
Well, when prosecutors subpoena you and require you to testify, you're going to testify. That's different. Non-disclosure agreement. All right, you can't go and tell the public what happened and get paid for your story. So she's coming out and saying who she is because she's sympathetic. Who doesn't look at that video and say, oh my goodness, who is that poor victim who he's beating? So I don't know that it shows courage. I think that she's getting the publicity that goes along with being a